I'm Bob Pjorn, and this is my show, Musically Speaking, where I am attempting to document things musical throughout central New York and especially around the Auburn area. Today, I have two wonderful young people. Of course, everybody's young compared to me these days, but um, I didn't want to put any dates in this, but we're just getting over the COVID thing, and I thought it would be great to have some new up and coming musicians and get their ideas and how they feel about their future in music. And I have two great talented people. First of all, I have McKayla Weaver Comstock. Can I get the Weaver in there? Who
Mm-hmm.
was recently married to one of my proteges, Dean Comstock, and Mr. Jimmy Dransack. And they both coincidentally graduated from Fredonia. And as a matter of fact, I'll open this up to Michaela. Michaela, when did you graduate from?
So I graduated with my bachelor's in 2019, and then in 2020 I got my master's.
Right. And
Yeah.
Jimmy, you when did you graduate? And
I got my bachelor's in violin performance at the spring semester of 2020, and then music education or fall semester of 2020 as well.
and they passed each other in the halls, and they didn't recognize each other, but I brought them together. So they actually were there simultaneously for a point, but they didn't really do any work together. So fortunately, it worked out nice that I was able to bring them together. Now, both of them are now teaching. And Michaela, tell us where you're teaching, what grades, and how you're dealing with COVID with the
Okay.
kids.
So I am a long-term sub, a year-long sub for pre-K through 8th graders. I teach general music at Lynn Court in Syracuse. Yeah.
And Jimmy, what are you doing teaching wise?
So I'm teaching at Sewell Road Middle and Elementary School, which is part of the Liverpool Central School District. So I have 4th and 5th graders and 7th and 8th graders. So I'm teaching orchestra and long-term sub. So
And you guys are teaching virtually. Did you start off? Oh, you aren't. You're not.
No.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, I've been in school the whole year.
Oh no, I thought you started that way, and then so you've been teaching face to face the whole. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I started teaching when I started in January. It was mixed, so I had
Oh, I
one
see.
rehearsal
Yeah.
in the morning, and then all of our lessons were virtual. And then 2 weeks later they changed it, and then 2 weeks later they changed again, and then they changed again. So
Yeah.
in the couple of months that I've been there, it's changed quite a bit. But now we're full on virtual for most students. I have 7 virtual students who've decided to stay home, and I work with them separately. But otherwise, all the students are back and playing.
Oh, well, that's good. So the big thing is you both got music degrees and you're working. So
Imagine
because
that.
some of us musicians who just made our living playing, we were not working for a long time. So you guys have an advantage. Now, we want to intersperse all this verbiage with some music. So before we get on to other things, we're gonna do a little song together. As a matter of fact, Jimmy brought this to our attention, and it's a beautiful song. It sounds like an old standard, but strangely, it was written in 1976. So it's called Blackberry Winter. As a matter of fact, Jimmy, you told me your a mentor turned you on to this.
Yeah, a friend of mine I play with, famous jazz pianist in Syracuse, Dick Ford. We play a couple gigs together throughout the year, and so this was one that we had done at a New Year's gig, probably 2 or 3 years back.
I see.
So
And it caught your ear. It's a standard, AABA kind of standard song, reminiscent of the 40s and 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. It's very nice, and Michaela's going to sing it, and we're going to try to accompany her. So here's a song called Blackberry Winter.
Blackberry winter comes without a warning, just when you think that spring's around to stay. Then you wake up on a cold, rainy morning and wonder what on earth became of May. Blackberry winter only lasts a few days, just long enough to get you feeling sad. When you think of all the love that you wasted on someone who you never really had. I'll never get over losing you, but I've had to learn that life goes on, and the memories grow dim, like a half-forgotten song, till that blackberry winter reminds me you are gone. I get so lonely, most of all in springtime. I wish I could enjoy the first of May, but I know that means that blackberry winter is not so far away. I'll never get over losing you, but I've had to learn that life goes on, and the memories grow dim, like a half-forgotten song, till the blackberry winter reminds me you are gone. I get so lonely, most of all in springtime. I wish I could enjoy the first of May, but I know it means that blackberry winter is not so
Beautiful, guys. You restore my faith in young musicians coming up. That was beautiful. And I want to get this in that Jimmy won a scholarship to Juilliard, very prestigious, probably one of the greatest music schools in the world. And he'll be going there. Of course, this show will be on indefinitely in cyberspace, but he'll be going there soon. In, let's see, August of the year we're doing this in.
Yeah.
August. So tell us a bit about, I mean, what do you expect? How do you feel about it? What happened when you would you get a letter in the mail said, hey, Jimmy, what happened?
Well, so the auditions were different this year.
Oh, yeah, an
of
audition,
course.
of course.
So there was an audition round where you sent in a video, and then there was a live round where you had to do it. You had to be there on time, and this was on Zoom, of course, so virtual. And I didn't have a choice of choosing of a time or a day, but it was a Wednesday at 3:15, which is exactly when my students are leaving my room. So the Juilliard audition was happening while my students were walking out of my classroom
Wow.
at the same time. It was so there was no warm up time, there was nothing, but it was great. They were very welcoming people. So I played a little bit for them, and we had a nice chat, and that was it. So a couple weeks later, I received an email that said, "Congratulations, you've been
an email.
accepted."
Wow.
I didn't believe it, so I actually contacted them to make sure that
Yeah.
it was meant to be sent to me, and then it was fine. And I told my parents. I've been kind of keeping it a little bit on the down low, just for whatever reasons, and so I don't quite know what to expect. It's gonna be different.
So let me ask you. You want to pursue a career in. You want to play in symphonic groups, or small, or whatever. What are you pursuing exactly as a violinist?
So the program is called it's a master's in historical performance. So I'll be studying the Baroque violin, meaning this is focusing.
Well, a lot of musicians are broke, but I mean the Baroque violin.
Well, we are all of us are Baroque, but and Baroque, yes, specifically, not financially, but as far as the 17th and 18th century repertoire is concerned, that's what I'm focusing on. And so my hopes after I graduate are to perform in an ensemble that focuses in 17th and 18th century music.
Whether it's small groups or large groups.
Yeah,
or
and
whatever.
typically because of that time period, orchestras weren't really over
Really big,
30
yeah,
people
small,
at absolute most, So it'll be a small group, but I'm also open to joining a symphony, but I'm also open to teaching because I've been teaching this past year and I really, really enjoy it. So it'll be fine as well. Yeah.
Now, Jimmy came up. As a matter of fact, I know the Dransack name. I grew up on the northwest end of Auburn, and there was always a grocery store at Dransack's, and we knew it. I hope I never stole anything from there when I was a kid. Maybe I did. I was a notorious shoplifter as a young kid, but only like penny candy or things. But I do remember going. That was your. You said your father's.
My father's uncle.
Your father's uncle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your name is known. The name is known. And right up the street from there is the Ukrainian church, where you often perform.
Yep.
And obviously you're of Ukraine. Are you your mother? Let's see, who was Ukrainian?
My father's side.
Your father was Ukrainian.
Yeah.
So you got somehow into that church and the heritage of Ukrainian music.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and you learned to play that music. So right now we're going to attempt to do a song. Tell us what the song is.
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing a dance tune called a kolomeka. It can also be a song. There's various words, and I believe it originated in western Ukraine, so in the Carpathian Mountains. However, it's taken off to various different villages, and there's different lyrics that are put with it. We never performed them for like the Christmas concert at St. Peter and Paul Ukrainian Church. I wanted to perform it, but we weren't sure because some of the lyrics could be a little bit on the more. It is a drinking tune after all, so it can be a little bit more on the inappropriate side, not quite church appropriate. So we had to leave that one out for that concert series, but very fitting for this one. In any case,
what that mean? The word itself means?
If I'm not mistaken, it's called a kolomeka because it derives from the village Kolomia.
Oh, I
I
see.
believe
Okay,
that's
right.
Now, Father Basil will have to double check that for me. But
The
I
thing
believe
about
so.
folk music, it goes through so many permutations that like a lot of our stuff. The famous one is Greensleeves. They said Henry VIII wrote it, and then they disputed that.
Yeah.
And it goes through all these things. But so, anyways, it's a fun little song, and I'm glad to try something different. This is totally different for me. So, so we're gonna do it.
Let's
There's
give it a shot. Yeah.
Little Ukrainian tune on the violin and guitar. It's always good to end together. That can convince the audience that you've played well throughout the song. So, anyways, that was great. It was fun to do that. I'd like to focus a little bit more on McKayla and talk a little bit about her. She has a duo with her husband.
Mm-hmm.
What's that guy's name again?
Dean.
Dean Comstock. Yes.
Yes.
And so it's funny, when I was coming up as musicians, we always talked about not working with somebody that was a love interest, because it always prevented problems. Because what would happen is you'd go out on the gig and you'd start thinking of things that happened during your daily life. But I'm sure that never happens to you
No,
guys.
never.
So are you starting to get out there? Are you trying to find some gigs and things?
Yeah, we should be starting up doing weddings again with Nick and the Nice Guys. And
Oh, that's right.
then-
I should mention that you and Dean work
Yes.
with Nick and the Nice Guys out of Rochester. I should have brought that up. Yes.
And then we should be at the Aurora Inn again.
Okay, soon. Okay.
Yeah.
So good. So look for them. What do you call yourselves?
Just Dean and McKayla.
Oh, whoa, what a unique name that is.
Yeah,
That's very-
just their names. And everyone has always commented on that. They want us to come up with a more unique name, but
No, well, whatever works, as long as
you
they
know,
know
we
you.
could be the Comstocks now.
Yeah, the Comstocks.
but
yeah. Whatever works to get gigs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'd like to address the biggest question of all to you. I mean, from my standpoint, music was always as you get older, everything is better in the past.
Uh-huh.
People often don't give young people the credit of thinking, well, things could be better. I'd like to ask this deep question to both of you. What do you think the future of a number of things, performing as in a symphony, performing as a duo in nightclubs and weddings? What do you think? When is it gonna be back to normal? How do you feel about it? Do you feel optimistic that Of course, you guys haven't seen the best of things, so it's hard to gauge what's gonna be. What do you think, Jimmy? I mean, when you go to a place like Juilliard, do they give you some insight into what to expect with whether you can find a gig? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure a lot of the education will be about how to
Find work.
survive, how to, and luckily once you get into that program, there's a gig scene involved with the program, and so that you're kind of jumping into some sort of a gig scene. I hope. Haven't been there yet. That's the plan. Anyways,
So what I'm saying, if you get down to New York and Juilliard, I mean, you think nothing of playing. If somebody needs a wedding violinist or what you're going to take anything you can get, or would they frown on that? Or,
I don't know. It depends on how intense the program is. I'm assuming I'm not going to have much time
to do
room in
that
my
kind of
schedule
thing,
to do that.
So I mean, if Broadway opens, they need violinists, and they usually pay good money because it's a union gig. I mean, you would think you'd want to get some work as a violin, or would pursuing serious music? Would you frown on that? Go play in a pit for a show?
Oh, I wouldn't. I mean, I personally wouldn't frown on it.
You wouldn't,
but that
yeah.
would have to depend on the time of year, of course. What's
Right,
going
and
on.
whether you can fit it into your
Yeah,
schedule.
but
so.
I would. I mean, if they offered it right now, I'd be there tomorrow, probably.
Yeah,
something
sure.
like that.
I think both of you feel the same way I do. Our agents don't change this. We just want to play music. That's what we're all
Exactly,
about. And I think, we whatever the gig is, whether it's a wedding or a symphony orchestra, we want to be out there and play.
right.
Right now, McKayla is going to do, which is very nice of her, one of my original songs that I wrote. And right now we are experiencing this time of year, although this will be out hopefully for years. It'll be on Facebook and so on, and people will be able to see it. Right now it is spring, and I wrote a song called Spring. And she has very nicely decided that she would sing this, and she does a great job on it. So, and I'd like to send this out to somebody who told me how much they liked it. His name is Gary Finch, and Gary Finch was the assemblyman, I don't follow politics too much, for 10 terms in central New York. And he's a wonderful guy, and he approached me or sent me an email, and I just saw him the other day. He was telling me how much he loved the song, so I'd like to personally send this song out to Gary Finch, who's been a long-term politician that just recently retired. So, anyways, here's my song, Spring, and I'll meet you guys at the end.
Okay. Now and then I think of when spring was here and love was new. April showers brought May flowers. Every day the sky was blue. Then came the summertime, fall wasn't far behind. Leaves changed and so did you. You left and I was blue. Winter's chill brought cold and snow. Winds that blow, I was low. I lost hope to love again, for my heart to ever I'll wait and hope that a new love will come to me, someone to comfort me when cold winds blow again. Now and then I think of when spring was here and love was new. April showers brought May flowers. Every day the sky was blue.
All right, thank you, McKayla, for doing such a wonderful job on my song. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It gives me great pleasure to think that two talented, wonderful people like you will be teaching the next generation. So I feel like there's hope for music in the future if there's more people like you out there that I know you both love music and you're pursuing getting better as performers all the time. So I'd like to thank you very much for talking with me. Is there anything else that you would like to add, or do you think we covered? What would be interesting to maybe have you come back in a couple of years and talk about
What we've learned.
where
The real
I hope
world.
we're still playing.
where
Yeah.
things have gone. So, but
Yeah.
for now, everything's hopeful for you. You're both teaching. You'll be going away to school. Are you gonna? Have you had enough of education? Or are you gonna pursue any more? You.
I
what
don't
else?
know.
Yeah.
Maybe at some point.
Yeah. So your degree was basically in education, rather.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I got both degrees in music education.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yes. So, all right. Well, anyways, thank you both very much, and we'd like to. what better way to end the show than a little bit of banjo music? So
Oh.
we're gonna end with a little bit of something on the banjo and the violin. It's a reel, and I think reels are of Irish. Well, they were Northern Europe dance songs. So, and we're gonna do one. As a matter of fact, this one is really odd because what it's called is the Untitled Reel. They couldn't think of a name for it. So, anyways, we're going to go out with this probably. And once more, I'd like to thank Jimmy Dransak and McKayla Weaver Comstock. I'll get all those names in there. And we're going to do a little thing called Untitled Reel coupled with the wonderful Swinging on a Gate.
Gotcha.